shit all the time.
Okay, you guys, so I'm trying to get to the bottom of why every single time a grown woman dates younger, the internet suddenly turns into a daycare worker with a whistle and a clipboard. Because today, the girlies are in full meltdown mode over rapper Bia and her new boo, NBA player Cam Whitmore, who is 21 years old while Bia is 34. And people are screaming that she's dating her son, which is wild, loud, and very internet. Let's get straight into it, because this story popped off fast. Bia recently showed off her new man, Cam Whitmore, a young NBA player with money, muscle, and a future, and within minutes, Cardi B fans and honestly just age gap police in general were on her neck. They said it's weird, it's predatory, it's giving midlife crisis, it's giving babysitter, it's giving ma'am, that boy just finished algebra. And once the Cardi fans clocked that Bia and Cardi already have a weird little history, this stopped being about age and turned into a full-on stan war. Now, according to social media chatter and timeline detectives, Bia posted up with Cam Whitmore looking very comfortable, very booed up, very, yes, this is my man. And fans immediately did the math. 34 and 21, 13-year age gap. Cue the think pieces, the quote tweets, and the fake outrage. And let me say this up front. Nobody was confused about Cam's age. This isn't a secret. This man is a professional athlete, legally grown, and playing in the NBA, not the AAU league. The blind item reads something like this. A female rapper who has had tension with another A-list female rapper is now being dragged by that rapper's fan base after stepping out with a significantly younger athlete, reigniting debates about double standards in dating. And once again, the internet is pretending this is about morals instead of vibes and favoritism. Now, let's talk about why Cardi B fans are especially loud. Bia has been very clear in the past that she felt shaded, blocked, or sidelined by Cardi in industry spaces. So when Bia pops out happy, unbothered, and with a rich young athlete, the stans don't see romance. They see competition. They see narrative disruption. They see a woman not staying in the box they assigned her. And that's when the insults start flying. People are saying she's dating her son, which is not only disrespectful, but lazy. Cam Whitmore does not look like a child. He does not live like a child. He does not earn like a child. And calling grown men sons when women date younger is one of the oldest shaming tactics in the book. It's meant to strip the man of agency and paint the woman as desperate or creepy. Let's be real for a second. If Cam Whitmore was 21 and Bia was 34 and this was reversed, if this was a 34-year-old male rapper with a 21-year-old WNBA player, the internet would be cracking jokes, calling him a legend, and asking how she pulled him. That's not no light work. That's a double standard wrapped in fake concern. Now, allegedly, some fans are also pushing the idea that Bia is doing this for clout or to stay relevant, which is interesting considering she didn't need to announce this relationship at all. She could have kept it quiet. Instead, she stood 10 toes down and said, yes, this is my man. That confidence is what's really triggering people, not the age, the confidence. It really makes you wonder why women are expected to age quietly, desirably, but not visibly happy. The minute a woman in her 30s enjoys her life out loud, suddenly there's a morality panel convened on Twitter Spaces. Meanwhile, men in their 40s and 50s are out here dating 22-year-olds and getting standing ovations. Another layer here is the Cardi B fan involvement, because once her fan base gets activated, logic goes out the window. This stops being about what's appropriate and starts being about loyalty. They don't like Bia, so anything Bia does must be wrong. Today it's age gaps. Tomorrow it'll be her outfit, her tone, her breathing. And let's not skip past Cam Whitmore himself. Nobody is asking what he wants. Nobody is asking if he pursued her. Nobody is asking if he's happy, because society is uncomfortable with the idea that younger men can choose older women without being manipulated. That discomfort says more about us than it does about them. Bia has always had a grown, polished, assertive image. She doesn't play ditzy, she doesn't pretend to be confused. So when she dates younger, people project their own insecurities onto her. They assume she's controlling, dominating, or compensating. But if this is true, it could simply be two adults liking each other. Shocking, I know. Now, I want to pause right here and ask y'all something, because this is where it gets interesting. Is the outrage really about age, or is it about who's allowed to be desired? Because we praise youth on women, but we punish women who are confident beyond 30. Make that make sense. And before we move forward, let's be honest. 21 is young, yes, but it's not illegal, it's not hidden, and it's not secretive. If this was happening behind closed doors, maybe I'd raise an eyebrow. But this is out in the open, on Front Street, no shame attached. That matters. Now, let's dig into why this particular situation set people off the way it did. Because this backlash didn't come out of nowhere. There's a deep discomfort in our culture when women age visibly and still expect romance, desire, and options. Society is cool with women being chosen, but only on a timeline that benefits men. Once a woman crosses 30, especially in hip-hop culture, she's supposed to be either married, miserable, or invisible. Bia clearly skipped that memo, and that's why folks are mad. What people don't want to admit is age gap outrage is selective. It only becomes a problem when the woman has leverage. Bia has money, status, and her own platform. She's not chasing this man for security. If anything, the power dynamic is more balanced than people want to acknowledge. And that messes with a lot of people's internal programming about who gets to choose whom. Let's be real. A lot of this noise is coming from insecurity disguised as moral outrage. Folks are projecting their own fears about aging, desirability, and being replaced. When people say she's dating her son, what they're really saying is, I'm scared of what it means if women don't expire when I think they should. That's not concern, that's panic. Stan culture pours gasoline on that panic. Once fan bases get involved, logic goes out the window. Everything becomes a proxy war. Cardi B fans aren't debating age gaps in good faith. They're defending their fave by attacking someone they already dislike. Morality becomes a weapon, not a principle. And that's why the arguments don't stay consistent from situation to situation. It really makes you wonder why the conversation never includes accountability for the audience itself. Why do we feel entitled to police adult relationships we're not part of? Why does big internet think access to someone's Instagram means access to their personal decisions? That entitlement is a bigger problem than any age gap being discussed here. There's also a generational hypocrisy at play. Older men dating younger women is normalized to the point of being invisible. It's framed as mentorship, leadership, or he knows what he wants. Flip the genders, and suddenly it's pathology. That tells you the issue isn't age, it's control. People are uncomfortable when women aren't operating from a place of need. Another thing people keep ignoring is that maturity isn't measured strictly by years. Some 21-year-olds are reckless, and some are disciplined, focused, and clear about what they want. Some 34-year-olds are emotionally stunted, and some are grounded and intentional. Reducing relationships to birth years alone is lazy analysis. And let's not pretend this outrage is protecting young men. Nobody rushes to defend young men when they're exploited by labels, teams, or industries that chew them up and spit them out. But suddenly, everyone's a protector when a grown woman dates one? That selective concern is loud. This whole situation also exposes how uncomfortable people are with women enjoying their prime differently than expected. Bia isn't begging for validation. She's not hiding. She's not pretending to be confused. So when she dates younger, people project their own insecurities onto her. They assume she's controlling, dominating, or compensating. But if this is true, it could simply be two adults liking each other. Shocking, I know.